At the beginning of 2023, Mercedes aimed to surpass Ferrari and narrow the gap with Red Bull. However, their performance has been mixed with one significant success and one notable failure. Furthermore, Aston Martin's sudden rise in the Constructors' Championship standings has created a new challenge for the Silver Arrows. Consequently, the current state of affairs at Brackley feels somewhat stagnant. With a record of 8 consecutive titles from 2014 to 2021, it is unacceptable for Mercedes to trail a customer team, and Toto Wolff must devise a plan to reverse the situation. So what do the Silver Arrows have in their arsenal right now? Keep watching to find out. Since Mercedes unveiled their innovative side pod concept at the start of the 2022 campaign, they remained steadfast in their belief that it would eventually prove successful once they resolved the initial flaws. Despite eliminating the porpoising issue, which troubled them for a significant portion of the previous season, they are still not competitive enough. As all other F1 teams are currently trying to imitate Red Bull's design, it is only a matter of time before Mercedes follows suit. The quality of their drivers is an aspect in which Wolff and Mercedes excel. Lewis Hamilton, a 7-time world champion, demonstrated his competitiveness and skill by securing second place in the recent Australian Grand Prix. On the other hand, George Russell, who led the race early on in Melbourne, made a shrewd strategic decision by pitting during an early safety car period. However, the subsequent red flag and engine failure resulted in a 7th place finish. If provided with a competitive car, these two drivers will undoubtedly deliver results for Mercedes. Hence, it is now up to the team to find solutions to match the formidable Red Bulls. In recent years, Mercedes has struggled to overcome stagnation, and the loss of the 2021 Drivers' Championship to Max Verstappen in Abu Dhabi only compounded the issue. It is crucial for Wolff and the team to generate even a little bit of momentum, and with their vast support staff, they can accelerate progress. Once they do so, Mercedes could once again become a dominant force in the sport. Going back to Lewis Hamilton's move from McLaren to Mercedes, not everyone wishes things went the way they did. According to Helmut Marko, he will always regret the day he disclosed to his close friend Niki Lauda about Hamilton's availability. This piece of information ultimately resulted in Hamilton's departure from McLaren and his subsequent move to Mercedes at the conclusion of the 2012 season. This transfer, in turn, triggered an unprecedented period of triumph for both driver and team. In 2012, Lewis Hamilton secured 4th place in the Drivers' Championship, winning 4 races with McLaren. However, he was unable to challenge for the title against Red Bull and their 3-time world champion Sebastian Vettel. Despite not actively seeking to leave McLaren, Lewis Hamilton's contract with the team was due to expire at the end of the season. However, an initial exchange and initial conversation between Hamilton and Lauda piqued the Briton's interest in departing McLaren and joining Mercedes. Marko recalls that he informed Lauda about Hamilton's availability as a strategic decision, hoping it would benefit Red Bull. According to Marko, he believed that Hamilton, racing for Mercedes, would pose less of a threat to Red Bull than if he were to continue driving for McLaren. Speaking to Sport Bild, he said, "I gave him some information that Lewis would be available. Of course, I was not being altruistic. At the time, we thought Lewis would be less of a threat to us at Mercedes than at McLaren, for whom he was driving at the time. In retrospect, that was a complete misjudgment, although at the time it was really not foreseeable. But with the knowledge I have today, I would definitely not do that again." At that time, Red Bull team principal Christian Horner was in agreement with Marko. However, last year, he disclosed that Hamilton had expressed interest in joining the team based in Milton Keynes. Nevertheless, Horner believed that pairing Hamilton with Vettel, or having 2 top drivers, was not the most sensible decision. He said, "Lewis and I have had a couple of conversations over the years. From 2010 to 2013, he was very keen to come and drive for Red Bull. We had Sebastian at that time, and to have had 2 alpha drivers wouldn't have made sense. We were fighting McLaren, and in 2012, they had the fastest car, and we felt that Lewis in a McLaren would be more of a threat than in a Mercedes. I encouraged Niki to spend the money, as Lewis was wavering a little bit. It would be fair to say that backfired on me. It is widely known that Charles Leclerc is in talks with Mercedes, although it is not confirmed. However, Leo Torini does not believe that a straight swap with Lewis Hamilton is likely, as even Max Verstappen would not succeed in today's Ferrari. As neither Ferrari nor Mercedes are currently capable of competing with Red Bull, both Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton are reportedly contemplating their options. Some analysts are speculating that a direct exchange may occur, with Leclerc moving to Mercedes and Hamilton transferring to Ferrari. Eddie Jordan thinks that such a move would provide the necessary shakeup for the teams. Although Charles Leclerc has reportedly been in discussions with Mercedes, and Ferrari's president John Elkann has sought information about Lewis Hamilton's contract, respected Italian journalist Torini believes that Hamilton would only make way for Leclerc if he retires. That Leclerc is talking to Mercedes is the open secret, Torini reports. Everyone knows it, from the remote garage in Maranello to the Indian Ocean. In his unfinished career, he showed flashes of pure class. He's the first to know that time is passing. Russell is very, very strong, but if Hamilton were to stop, whoever pays in Stuttgart might not accept another Bottas alongside a driver who is not yet a world champion. What would he do if he realized that he could no longer win with the Silver Arrow? I do not know. On the other hand, I know that Hamilton has never been close to the Reds. There was never a negotiation. Never. It is true that John Elkann, who became president after Marchione's death, asked for information on Hamilton's contract. We were in 2019, Vettel was almost at the end of his credits, but Lewis, having won titles in a flurry running alone, was not in the least interested in the prospect. Today, 2023, but with the contracts in force in Maranello, we are talking about 2025. The media hit would be sensational, but Ferrari needs much more than a marketing operation. According to Torini, Hamilton desires a car that can contend for victories and secure him an 8th world title, something that not even Verstappen could accomplish in Ferrari's current state. What could convince Hamilton to close up shop at Scuderia that hasn't touched the ball for almost 20 years? Not the money. He is richer than Sardanapalus. Not the emotional challenge. A champion goes where he thinks he can be the added value that transforms podiums into victories. But Verstappen wouldn't make it with the current Ferrari. Leclerc, who is currently under contract with Ferrari until the end of 2024, has ample time to decide his future plans, which may well hinge on Hamilton's decision. In the event that Hamilton opts for retirement at the conclusion of this season, and Ferrari adheres to Leclerc's contract, which extends until the end of 2024, Leclerc's prospects of joining Mercedes would be diminished for the next several years. If Hamilton chooses to continue racing for another season, giving himself and Mercedes a final chance to secure that 8th world title, Leclerc would be well positioned to take over from Hamilton in 2025. All of this, however, is mere conjecture. Aside from Leclerc, there are other drivers such as Lando Norris who have been linked to the Mercedes seat, as well as rumors that Leclerc could potentially join Verstappen at Red Bull by 2025. But what do you think? Will Leclerc fit right in with the Silver Arrows, or is he better off staying in Ferrari? Let's talk about it down in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell for the latest F1 news.